So today we're going to talk about rituals and rites and what that is. And I've been thinking about it today as traditions. So there are things that we do every year, like Thanksgiving's a tradition, right? And certain holidays. And so we're going to talk specifically about rites and rituals and traditions around spring and summer. So I want to start though with a little quiet time of prayer and thanks. I want to think a little bit about vaccine makers, because I think about now pretty much if you want a vaccine, you can get a vaccine. So let's just do a really quick little prayer. God, we thank you for all the scientists and administrators and doctors and nurses, people who gave us vaccines so that we can go back into this new normal that we'll all be experiencing. We thank you for the help that we all have and the fact that we get to move forward into a whole new world. Amen. All right. Charlene, tell me something that you think about when you think about spring. What kinds of things happen in the springtime?
Well, I guess the weather change and stuff. The weather change.
How does it change?
I guess sometimes it be.
How does it
cool.
change?
I think sometimes it be cool and sometimes it be warm. And when it be warm, people out here be wearing shorts and stuff. I got mine on.
That's right. So it's changing from winter to spring. So what was it like in winter? What was it like in winter?
I guess what like in winter, you have to wear jeans, boots, or
jackets, right?
Big coat and stuff.
Right. So because it's cold, right?
Yeah.
So now it's getting warmer, and the days are getting longer, and so spring has some holidays in it. Like there's Kimberly, yay! Hi, Kimberly. We're glad to have you. So Charlene is telling me some things that are about spring. So we're talking today about rituals and rites and traditions around spring. So I was talking about some of the holidays, like in I think April, it's Earth Day, and it's Easter. It's a time when lots of things get born, right?
Yeah.
And then now, so we also had the cherry blossoms.
Yeah, Mother's Day.
Now I'm seeing. Say what?
Yeah, we had Mother's Day
and Mother's Day, right? So that was in May, just a few weeks ago, right? And then, so now I'm seeing lots of graduations, right? People graduating, and sometimes even this year they're getting to do it in person.
The only thing about it was they were talking about the vaccine and stuff.
About the what?
They were talking about people taking the vaccine and stuff. A lot of stuff open and stuff, and they're talking about the masks and stuff.
Right. So now now they're telling us it's okay to not wear our masks outside, right?
Yeah, but I gotta keep my mask. I gotta keep my mask. I wish I could take it off, but I gotta keep my mask on. I gotta follow the rules.
Okay. Oh, well, it's nice to have the option, right?
Yes.
So sometimes there's traditions that are kind of older, and sometimes we keep them and sometimes we lose them. And I want to talk about one here, but I want to talk about this. Does anybody, Charlene, do you know what this is? Can you see my screen?
I forgot what it called, but it was in the past. It's something like some kind of, I forgot what you call it.
So it's called a maypole. So in May, they would do this dance around this pole. And I think I did it once as a kid. And I think maybe I was out in West Virginia once and we did it there too, in Shepherdsville. Yeah. But people don't do it very much. Your mom? Oh, really? Yeah. So here's a woman. This is, well, let's watch what, so here's a woman England who wants to bring it back. Let's take a look at what she's
dancing. It's so special because it's colourful, the music's wonderful, and when you're watching it, there's a kind of magic that these people are making the patterns somehow.
All different colors, different colors.
So lockdown maypole dancing, it's still possible, and I hope you can have lots of fun having a go. All you need to do is figure out a way of dancing in your garden or your house. Now, if you've got a swing ball set or a garden parasol, then you could tie some ribbons or some string or some sheets to it and have fun with your family. And in those days, people would go out to the woods early on May Day and they'd chop down the tallest, straightest tree they could find. They'd bring it to the middle of the village and then they'd decorate it. And people would spend the whole day celebrating that summer was coming.
It's kind of fun, huh?
In particular, people always remember the over-under of the plait. And a lot of people always remember the children that had to sit in the middle on the pole to stop it wobbling over. I think it is facing a bit of a revival at the minute. People are very into the kind of heritage and bringing alive that history that we used to have in our country and not forgetting about the old traditions. Traditionally, the maypole didn't have ribbons, so if you haven't got ribbons, dance in a circle. And even if we're not together maypole dancing this year, if you're dancing in your garden and someone else is dancing in their garden, we have a shared sense of togetherness. And that's what we need at the minute, isn't it?
Okay, what'd you think of that?
It was great. Oh,
Pretty
I see
cool,
what
huh?
it was. I see what it was.
Hey,
I did
what?
something like that in the past, but I was young.
Hold on. That was pretty fun, huh?
It was.
And there's Allison. Look at that. And we have Harold and Amanda. That's great. So that's a tradition that really we don't do it anymore, but somebody's trying to make it happen, right? And then sometimes there's traditions where it maybe should be a bigger thing than it is. So I want to talk about something. So what can people see what this says here? Hi, Allison.
Hi. It looks like a Bible.
It's a book. Can anybody read the title?
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. Harold's got it and Geraldine's got it. So does anybody know what Juneteenth is?
No.
It was the Emancipation Day.
Right. So we're going to read a story about what Juneteenth is. But this is something that happens every June, and here's a holiday or a tradition that maybe we should make a bigger deal of than we do. So I'm going to read this. Let me just get my book here.
I like that one.
It's June 19th, 1865. It's a hot day in Texas. Clouds decorate the bright blue sky. On a farm outside the city of Galveston, a man hoes corn. 5 miles away, a teenage boy chops wood. Nearby, a woman scrubs the floor. Her sister milks a cow in the barn. It seems like a normal day. So here's the man running. Let's find out what he's found out. Then a message arrives in Galveston. It races from ear to ear through town. The message is carried to the countryside by riders on horseback. It's carried by wagon and by people on foot. The people on foot are running because the message is so important. When the news reaches the man in the cornfield, tears roll down his cheeks. 5 miles away, the young woodcutter plants his axe in a stump and runs to hug his father. Nearby, the woman stops scrubbing and dances across the wet floor. Her sister drops a bucket of milk and falls to her knees. As the news spreads across Texas, people stop working and jump for joy. So what do you think the news is? These men, women, and children are not ordinary workers. They were enslaved Black people. The news that arrived on June 19th changed their lives forever. On that day, General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston. He read an order from President Abraham Lincoln. The order said enslaved people were free. Well, look at how happy these people are, right?
Yep.
This was good news, but it was old news. President Lincoln had given the order in 1963, so 2 years later, almost 2.5 years later. The enslaved people in some places were not told right away. It took more than 2 years for the order to reach those in Texas. When it finally did, the streets of Galveston rang with Black voices shouting, "We're free, free, free." But now this is going to be a little harder to hear because it's pretty ugly. How did Black people become enslaved? Imagine you're playing outside. Suddenly, you're captured in a net like an animal. You're packed in the bottom of a ship with many other stolen people. You're taken far away to another country. You're forced to stand naked on a platform called an auction block. A man pays money for you. He owns you now. You are his property. You must do everything he says, and he can do whatever he wants to you. Slavery was very, very bad, right? He can make you work. He can put chains on you. He can whip you, even kill you. You never again see your home or your family.
Yes.
That's
a nice book.
It is a nice book. What are these people doing?
Picking cotton.
Counting.
Picking cotton. So let's find out about that.
My mother used to do that.
Is that right? Beginning
Yes.
in 1619. So today
I wasn't around.
it's 2021. So beginning in 1619, so 400 years ago, these things happened to millions of African people. They were taken to North America and to other places as slaves. Why did Americans want to enslave people? Some in the North wanted housekeepers and farmhands. Many Southerners needed workers for their plantations. Plantations were huge farms for cotton, tobacco, corn, and other crops. Plantation owners sold these crops to make money. The owners could keep more money if they did not have to pay their workers. They did not pay enslaved Blacks. Not everyone wanted slavery. Many people in the North and some in the South wanted to free enslaved people. They knew that slavery was wrong and they spoke against it. They believed that no one should own another person. Most Southerners did not want their way of life to end. Without slavery, who would pick their crops and chop their wood? Who would cook their meals and clean their homes? Also, many white people believed they were better than Black people. We know that's not right, don't we?
Right.
They believed that blacks were not equal and did not deserve to be free. So what are these guys doing? Can you tell?
Loading a cannon.
Loading a cannon. Northern leaders would not give up, and the southern states would not give in. Finally, a group of southern states decided they could no longer be part of the United States. They broke away and formed the Confederate States of America. Now the country was divided into two parts, the Confederacy in the South and the Union in the North. On April 12, 1861, armies from the two sides began to fight. This was the start of the Civil War. Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, it's George.
On January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln signed a special order called the Emancipation Proclamation. It said that all persons held as slaves in the Confederate States were forever free. So this is the news that they were traveling to tell folks, right? Many plantation owners kept President Lincoln's orders secret. Even when the owners knew the South would lose the war, they wanted one more harvest for free. But Union soldiers brought the news as the troops moved through the South. Enslaved people spread the word to others. Thousands of newly freed blacks joined the Union Army to help in the war. So you can see these are guys that joined the army to help fight. Some who were enslaved in Texas heard tales about freedom, but they couldn't be sure these stories were true. They had to be careful. If they even talked about freedom, they could be punished. If they tried to leave the plantations, they might be whipped or worse. All they could do was wait and hope. So they had a little bit of an idea, but it wasn't a for sure thing yet. Finally, in April 1865, the Union won the Civil War. More than 700 people from the North and South died fighting in the war. So that's like almost 1 million, right? That's somewhere around how many people died from COVID, right? It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
On June 19th, Union General Granger brought the news of freedom to Galveston, Texas. Texas was the last state where the official announcement was made. Not everyone believed the announcement. More than 200 years had passed since Africans were first captured and brought to North America. By 1865, most enslaved blacks in North America had been born free. The only life they knew was slavery. Then, in an instant, they were free. Once they knew the truth, they stopped working. The moment was scary and wonderful. They were free. They laughed and cried, shouted and prayed. They danced and sang, gathered and hugged. They imagined their lives as free Americans. So here's some pretty happy looking people here, right?
Yeah.
Some freed blacks left the plantations with just the clothes on their backs. They didn't know where they were going. They were happy just to be free to go anywhere. Many searched for loved ones who'd been sold to other plantations. Some were reunited with their families. Others never found their partners or parents or children. Some found jobs in cities. Others could not because white people wouldn't hire them. Many stayed on plantations because they had nowhere else to go. They were free, but Black Americans would struggle for equal rights for a long time. Do you think people are still fighting for equal rights
Yeah.
today? Yeah. So it's a long, long time. Still, the end of slavery brought great joy and a reason to celebrate.
Come on, yeah.
But you can see these people here celebrating. On June 19, 1866, 1 year after they learned of their freedom, freed African Americans came together to celebrate. The city of Galveston was alive with music. A sweet, smoky smell of barbecue filled the air. What's this guy? What's he eating? Maybe barbecue, huh?
Yeah, some kind of what kind of meat? Hamburger or something?
Well, if it's Texas, I'm gonna guess it's beef barbecue. Because that's what they got, a lot of cattle in Texas.
You would be correct as a Texan.
Black Texans were wearing their Sunday best. They gathered and hugged. They shared news and told stories. They sang spirituals celebrating freedom. No more slavery chains for me, no more, no more. Folks attended ceremonies, worship services, and parades to mark the day. So this tradition started in 1866, but most places don't really celebrate it now. Let's see here. This was the first of many June 19th celebrations in Texas. And when Black Texans moved to other states, they took the traditions with them. But how did June 19th become Juneteenth? At first, Texans called it Freedom Day, Emancipation Day, Jubilee, or just June 19th. As years passed and freedom stories were told and retold, June and 19th blended together into Juneteenth. So I think this is so interesting because that's not how I learned why it's called Juneteenth. And I'm going to guess this book is right, but it's just funny. Somebody tells you something when you're younger and you just believe it, and then we all got to learn new stuff all the time. Today, Juneteenth is celebrated much like that first anniversary in 1866. People of all colors arrive at parks, churches, schools, and backyards for picnics. The sweet, smoky smell of barbecue fills the air. Potato salad, corn on the cob, biscuits, homemade ice cream, cakes, pies, and melons crowd the tables. Red velvet cake and red soda pop are traditional treats. Bread honors all the people whose blood was shed in slavery and in the struggle for freedom. Jennifer, aren't you the one that hates red cake? Red velvet cake. Right?
I do.
I love that. I love red velvet.
You like red velvet. All right. I think Jennifer does not like it, is my memory.
I've made it too
Am I
much.
remembering that?
It's made with red food coloring.
Well, I love watermelon. Let me just say that I love watermelon. And so I was always glad when Juneteenth was coming around because I grew up in Arkansas. And there was always going to be a picnic with some watermelon.
Did you, Kimberly, do you remember Juneteenth celebrations growing up?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I don't think in California it was a thing.
it wasn't like a community-wide one, you know. It was more the African-American community, to be honest. But, I mean, it was, you know, supported by the community. But, yeah,
Right.
yeah, because, like, Arkansas, we were, like, 30% African-American in our town.
That's very cool. All right. Festive parades fill city streets with music and dancing. Black cowboys and cowgirls clomp through town on horses. Miss Juneteenth waves from a decorated float. Folks stroll along singing songs of freedom and patriotism. spirited baseball games bring whoops and hollers from excited fans. Foot races, sack races, and rodeos spark cheers and laughter. Oh, and this, Jennifer, here's a cakewalk. At the cakewalk, people clap their hands and tap their feet. Dancers turn and leap, strut and quick step to win the grand prize, a delicious cake. Worship services and reading of the Emancipation Proclamation are important parts of Juneteenth. Speakers tell and retell stories of slavery and freedom. They share tales of why enslaved Texans were last to get the news. One legend says the first messenger sent with the proclamation was murdered along the way. Another story says he was given a very, very slow mule to ride. People laugh, but no one forgets the real reason for the late news. No one forgets that Juneteenth is not just a day to have fun, it's a time to remember. Juneteenth is celebrated in big or small ways almost everywhere in the United States. The government of Texas made it a state holiday on January 1st, 1980. From Florida to Alaska, California to New Jersey, other states across the nation have followed this example. Many people believe that June 19th should be a national holiday like Thanksgiving or the 4th of July. Wherever it is celebrated, Juneteenth is a time to sing praises for the end of slavery in the United States. The end. Do you like that?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good story, huh? Now you know where Juneteenth comes from.
Yes, well, it's the heart.
Okay, so now the next sort of ritual or rite or tradition I want to talk about is one that isn't necessarily every year. So whoops, I'm going to blow this again. All right, I want to share my screen. What is that?
That's gonna be a loud bucket.
What is
The
that?
cow.
Yeah, but I ain't seen him. I ain't seen him in no. I ain't seen him in no feast.
Yep.
I ain't seen him in no feast yet.
It's a
Yeah,
cicada, right? Harold knows what it is.
yeah.
So you know what,
Loud
Charmaine,
bug.
I just read a couple of hours ago, I was reading the paper and it said next week is going to be the week. So if you
What?
haven't seen them yet, Jennifer said her sister's seen them. I haven't seen any yet.
So
Most of all, what I
My
remember is
friend
the
in
noise.
Alexandria.
They've
Well,
seen them.
The news people talking about that stuff. The news people talking about that stuff.
Newspaper
The one on Channel 7.
A lot.
Channel 7.
Right.
I be good.
Right.
I don't want. I don't like.
So what are they saying about them, right?
They said cover your ears up to make loud noise. You can't hardly hear enough. It's not like It's not like the bees, cause I seen like the bees out here flying around. It's some kind of bees, but they be flying around and stuff.
So they're a tradition or a ritual or a rite of spring and summer, but they don't come every year. Does anybody remember how often they come?
Well, I don't know. I want to read upon them.
It's every 17
That was
years.
the years.
Yeah.
17 years, Harold.
You gotta
Harold
cover
and
your ears
Jennifer
up.
have it.
Yeah, cover your ears up for that thing.
Right, they're very loud. I remember, so Jennifer was telling me where she used to live, you had to crunch on them to walk across into your house.
What?
So I don't remember any place I lived during a year where they were that bad, but I remember the noise just never stopped.
What?
Right? Does anybody know what kind of noise they make? What kind of noise do they make? It's like a buzzing or a whirring sound, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta hear and see what they look like.
Well, there's a picture.
Lots of
You see
noise.
right here.
Yeah.
So I want to talk. So this only happens every 17 years.
17 years.
Yep. And I'm going to ask you, can you guys see what I'm doing, what I have here?
Yes.
This quiz. Can you see this?
Oh, the
Okay,
New
so
York
there's some
Times.
more cicadas. The last time there were cicadas, it was 2004. So that's 17 years ago.
17. Whoa.
And
Yeah,
it's
they-
billions of them that are coming.
Oh. So what part do you live at?
I live in Adams Morgan. I haven't seen them yet. I hope there's not a billion of them here.
I haven't seen
But
it
I
either
want to
in
ask you
Northeast
some
DC.
questions. Go ahead, Shirlene. Say what you're going
I
to say.
haven't seen them. I haven't seen
You-
it, but I know they loud. Somebody said they loud.
I
and
want
stuff.
you to get ready because you'll probably see them next week.
Oh, man.
So I want you to think back to 2004, the last time they were here.
Let's see.
What popular TV show had its final episode in 2004? So 17 years ago, it was in its last season. Was it Everybody Loves Raymond, NYPD Blue, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or Friends?
Oh, that's so hard. I'm so old.
Friends.
It's so old.
I think it might be Friends. I think
it's
it's
cable.
Friends or NYPD Blue.
Friends.
Friends. Okay.
I was thinking
Friends is what Harold.
Come
Oh!
on, step friends.
You got it right.
Never doubt Harold.
Oh,
Come on, say friends.
I want him on my
good.
trivia team.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
got the question. You got the question.
We might not have time to do all these, but let's do a few of them. Relationships were in for a major status change after Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook from his dorm room in February 2004. But social networks already existed the last time cicadas visited. Which was the most successful at that time? So Friendster, MySpace, LinkedIn, or Second Life?
Lincoln. I don't know. Lincoln.
I think,
They used to be. I don't know.
I
Lincoln.
hear people
Okay.
say LinkedIn.
I think it's MySpace.
MySpace.
LinkedIn.
I said Lincoln.
Not
I don't
LinkedIn,
know.
Harold. So Jennifer,
But-
not
but-
MySpace.
LinkedIn.
No, it was MySpace.
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 Yeah.
Good, Jennifer.
Oh, he got it.
All
I think
right.
Lincoln is something like a job.
Tim Brady led the New England Patriots to victory in Super Bowl 38. Gosh, he's been around a long time. So 17 years ago, he was still playing football.
Oh man.
Which team did
Carolina
the New
Panthers.
England Patriots win in
Carolina Panthers.
2004? Eagles,
Oh, no, that's
Rams,
Janet Jackson.
No, Seahawks.
no.
Seahawks?
Hmm.
Nope. Carolina Panthers.
I didn't even know
Carolina
the Panthers
Panthers.
were there.
Carolina Panthers.
Panthers.
2004. Wow.
Oh, no, not
Oh,
that. No.
I didn't even know that
I
they were
remember
there,
that.
that
I
they
remember
existed
that.
in two.
I remember that.
I didn't remember being a team then. Oh no, not the
Yeah.
Panthers.
No.
The
Ah.
Super Bowl halftime show featuring Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake was the occasion of
I
what
remember
Timberlake
that.
would
I remember
later
that.
infamously describe as a wardrobe malfunction. Who
Her breath.
sang the national anthem before the game to much less controversy? So 2004 was the famous year that Janet Jackson had what Justin Timberlake called a wardrobe malfunction. Anybody know who sang the national anthem? Mariah Carey, Faith Hill, Beyonce, Aretha Franklin.
Oh, boy.
I think it was Mariah Carey, but I can't remember that far back.
Why, Kelly?
Well,
I
No.
know.
I'm
Never go against Queen
surprised.
Bee.
Aretha
Beyonce.
Franklin?
No, it was Beyonce.
Oh my goodness.
Beyonce? Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
well that.
I have to say, I didn't realize she's been that famous for that long. Wow. I'm feeling very old. All right. Highest grossing movie of 2004, Spider-Man
Oh.
2, Shrek 2, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, or Meet the Fockers.
Azkaban?
Harry Potter?
Who is Meet the what we call it?
It was
I
with,
don't remember that. I remember Spider-Man, Brad, Harry. Well,
you think it was 14
Harry
to 17
Potter?
years?
Harry Potter.
Probably Meet the Fockers.
I have been watching it. I would say
It's not worth. It may
Is it
not be
Meet?
worth watching.
Meet by spiders.
No.
Oh, we're all wrong.
Fuck 'em.
Shrek.
Spider-Man,
Wow.
the
Shrek
Shrek.
Troy High.
Well,
Shrek Troy
that's
High.
good. That's family entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good cartoon to
It
watch.
made $441 million in the United States.
Be darned.
It was also the same year as The Bourne Supremacy, Ocean's 12, Lord of the Rings, Princess Diaries 2. All right. How many gold medals did Michael Phillips win at the Summer Olympics? So this was the year. Gosh, do you remember him? Michael Phelps was a swimmer.
Yeah.
He won a lot of medals. 3, 5, 6, or 8.
Thanks.
Was it Beijing?
No,
Six.
six.
Oh, somebody said 6. It said 6.
Six.
I ain't get.
Thanks.
6.
You got 8 overall, 6 gold. And there's that famous picture of him having all the gold medals around his neck. Eventually, he competed in 5 Olympics and won a total of 28 medals. Wow, that's a lot. So one country in that Olympics tied with Phelps' gold medal haul.
I got it.
So what country got a total of 8 gold medals? Romania, Japan, Brazil, or Greece? Romania?
Right on.
No, Greece.
Let's change.
I was in Athens. I got it.
Greece. Greece.
Ah, so this is a famous moment if you're a political junkie. The Dean Scream, considered one of the first viral political moments of the internet age.
So what are they gonna do this year?
What's who gonna do?
I said, what are they gonna do this year? Cause they said something about.
Oh, it's in Japan this year. It's in Japan. They're saying they're gonna go ahead.
Yes, I want to see that. I love
Can
me
you
some.
slow down a little bit?
Yeah.
Scroll down. Oh, you got to scroll down. You on New York.
Yeah, Kimberly's trying to see what the answers are. So
Okay,
this picture is of is it John Dean? I forgot his first name.
Coward.
Howard Dean.
Howard Dean. That's right. All right.
Howard
So
Dean.
here it is. What was he doing?
Yes,
What was he
John
doing
Kerry.
at the time? So he let out this scream,
He was,
and they want to know what they were doing.
he was rallying,
arguing
he
with
was
the
rallying
supporter,
supporters. He was
Responding to an attack, rallying supporters, or badly stubbing his toe.
I don't know.
He was rallying supporters, I think.
I think
We
that's
was-
what I would vote for too.
We just
Yes!
Wait, you want to hang?
That's pretty pathetic that the only pop culture I know is politics. All right.
She probably looked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. What were the 2 NASA rovers that landed on Mars that year? So I didn't even know. Gosh.
What?
So apparently there were 2 NASA rovers that landed on Mars. The ones that just landed, there's a couple that just landed. So the ones though from 2004, what were their names? Spirit and Opportunity, Sojourner and Pathfinder, Perseverance and Ingenuity, Snoopy and Woodstock.
Totally guessing. I think it's
Snoopy.
Sojourner and Pathfinder.
I did too, because I was watching a movie and they said something about those. But that's the only reason I have any idea.
I think it's perseverance and ingenuity that we have. Those are the-
So So everybody thinks it's something different.
Yep.
So what did you say? Opportunity, Harold?
No. Preservation.
Is it?
No.
Oh, there's Susie and Ryan.
Yes,
Look
me.
here,
Yes.
Oh,
I thought I missed the whole
you
thing.
got it.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Which of these songs ranked highest in Billboard's year-end chart for 2004? Toxic by Britney
okay.
Spears.
Okay.
Yeah by Outkast. Numb by Linkin Park. And The Reason by Hobosting. Can I say I don't even know two of these groups? Just
Okay.
in total disclosure. Who thinks what song was number one?
I was going to say Linkin Park.
Linkin Park. That's the group
Yeah.
though. The song is Numb. Is that what you want to pick?
It's not.
That's one you want.
Yes.
I'm going to say
All right.
Toxic by Britney Spears.
Toxic.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Ryan, is it okay if I pick your mom's answer? Because that's the one I think it is too.
Oh, Hoobastank.
We survived. My favorite pillow.
Who's this? Reason
Guys.
by
Who was that?
3 out of 10.
Who was that? Reason? Who said that?
Reason? That's the one.
Reason by Hoobastank.
You did?
I never even heard of
Oh,
Hoobastank.
Hoobastank.
I've heard of them, but I can't
All
remember
right.
that song.
Okay. We got 3 out of 10.
Okay.
All right, you guys
Hey,
did
come for you.
great.
Give your hand.
3 out of 10. And
I'm
welcome
listening.
to
I'm
Ryan and Susie. We're glad to see you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Been trying to
All
get
right.
on and things.
Cicadas, we're talking about rituals and traditions.
Yes.
Cicadas is sort of it is a ritual. It's a tradition every 17 years. So it kind of crosses over between spring and summer, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about some traditions around summer.
On the first day of summer.
On the first day of summer, my good
So this
friend
is the
gave-
song that
Oh,
we
I'm trying to
do.
read it.
I'm sorry,
On my
I did
first day.
just move on its own.
Gave me.
So this is the song that we did one summer celebration. And I think if we have enough time, we'll sing the whole thing, but we're going to at least take a see what kinds of things do you think are like traditions and rituals in summer?
Well,
Can you think of it?
it's a lot of summer.
What do you do in the summer? Someone talked about, what, Harold?
You go swimming.
You can say loud.
You go
Some
swimming.
vacation.
It's a lot of songs. It's
Vacation,
a lot of
that's a
songs.
good one.
It's a lot-
Say it loud.
You go
Vacation.
swimming in the
Look at
summer.
the Beach Boys. Look at the Beach
Swimming.
Boys shagging and all that.
So there's a big tradition about the first day the pool opens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In apartment buildings and in public pools, that's a big thing.
Cookouts.
You
All
do
right, and then
cookout.
there's the 4th of July.
Yes.
Yeah.
Baseball.
It's hot. I think I always love summer because it means I can get 2 things, strawberries and watermelon.
Yeah.
So let's take a
Iced
look
tea.
here.
Drink some iced tea.
Iced tea, yep. One game of baseball.
What about the
I can
smoothie?
make
What about the smoothie?
Yeah.
smoothies.
Smoothies
Yes.
is good too.
Lemonade.
Sailboats.
Well,
Lemonade.
oh, the ice cream. You can eat some ice cream when it's
Oh,
summertime.
yeah, it's a big
Keep
ice
you
cream.
cool off.
Shady spots.
Shady
Right,
spot.
because you're trying to get cool, right? So this is 3 shady spots. So places to hang out when it's too hot out. You hang out in the shade.
Yeah.
What are these? 4 fancy flip flops.
Flip flop.
Flip flop.
Hey, Bob.
So I just put away my winter shoes and I just took out my summer shoes. Right? It's not flip flops, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. It's It's all kinds.
Oh, and who said
Oh,
lemonade?
yeah, lemonade.
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 Somebody
Different
made,
flavor.
you know, Beyonce
The
made a
beach,
song
the
about
beach,
that,
the
right?
sand on the beach.
Beach chairs.
So beach
Big
chair.
summer
Yeah,
beach
I'm gonna go to Myrtle Beach.
They got different colors too.
Yep. That's what it's like.
7 outdoor movies. Has anybody been? So we only do this in the summer, right? It's too cold in the winter. Like maybe they'll go back to this year on the mall. They have
Well,
movies, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Has anybody been to
before
see
they
one
had
of
all
these
this,
outdoor movies?
No.
Say what?
yeah, long time ago, before I moved here, it was outside in D.C. Somewhere outside in D.C.
And when I was growing
That's
up, they
time
had
when they-
outdoor movie. They had what did they call those when you came in your car?
We had
Drive-ins.
drive-ins.
Was it a
Yeah, I went to
yeah.
drive-ins as a kid too.
Did you? Yeah, it was a big. We got to wear our pajamas in the car. It was a huge deal.
No.
Of course, people were couldn't go into.
8 hot dog toppings.
I know.
So what do people like on their hot dogs?
I like everything of mine.
Do you like cicadas on your hot dogs, Ryan? Is anybody gonna try and eat cicadas?
Oh no.
No.
NBA on Mr. Man. Yeah, no.
What are some of the toppings? Do you see your icy mustard?
I think I stick with the usual. Mustard,
The
ketchup,
usual.
and relish. And onions.
Okay. And how about a little chili, a little cheese? There's all kinds of ways to make hot dogs. Somebody put lettuce on their hot dog. I don't know that I would do that.
Like,
I don't know if I would do that on.
All right, 9 summer concerts.
Summer?
Does anybody know where this is? Where's this?
yeah.
Is that Wolf Trap?
It looks like Wolf Trap.
Okay.
I think it's Wolf Trap, yeah.
I've been, but I sit inside because I don't like mosquitoes.
As I've gotten older, I have tended more to go sit on the inside too. But this used to be a favorite thing for me of mine to do. And just
Concert?
What?
Oh, that's packed. That's packed out there.
It's packed. Well, I was gonna say, just before before we shut down, I was looking at, you can actually go to Wolf Trap by taking a metro and a bus. And I was trying to figure out if I wanted to try to do that because if you take a car, it's a really long wait, right?
I did that, Pastor Suzanne, for a concert.
Did it
worked out
work?
really well. Yeah,
Okay.
it did.
Then I may if I ever feel comfortable, I think I'd be
Let me know.
able to
I'll
get
go with
it.
you.
Okay. Okay.
Bring your blanket.
I can't imagine right now being in that big of a crowd. What do you guys think?
No.
No.
But you gotta have a vaccine. You gotta make sure you take your vaccine.
Well,
I spread it with a lot of people.
It depends
Yeah.
on what type
Yeah.
of shows.
All right, let's see what 10 is.
I wear my man.
10 fiery
My man,
ants.
right here.
So why are ants a part of summer?
I don't like ants. I don't like ants.
Where do we see ants when we're out in the summertime?
They look for food on the counter. Look for food on the counter.
What about on the counter? But what about outside? Where do you see ants
Yeah.
outside?
On the ground.
At picnics.
At
Yeah, on the
picnics,
ground.
exactly.
And ground and dirt and stuff.
So do you think so sometimes people eat ants, right? It's kind of like cicadas. Anybody ever try eating
Oh.
ants?
No.
No.
Oh, Spanish people do that. Spanish people do that stuff.
Who would?
Spanish people do that stuff. They eat the bugs and stuff. Ew. I think Spanish
I
people
think
eat
they're
the
pretty
bugs.
smart. They're supposed to be pretty healthy for you.
Ew, no.
All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, and here's one of my
Watermelon.
favorite things.
Going down.
No,
Watermelon. I love watermelon.
Summer.
You got watermelon downstairs. See, I don't have my pictures.
And then the last thing of summer, sunscreen.
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 Yeah. So hopefully this summer, everybody can spend some time outside, and they should take sunscreen with them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm just looking at the time here. I don't think we have time to try to sing this.
Well, I do sunscreen when I'm working.
When you're, oh, I bet, because you have to be outside in the hot parking lot, right?
Yes.
All right. So that's it for us. Jennifer is going to try to get this up on our YouTube channel today, and if not, we'll do it sometime next week. But go ahead and tell folks if they're interested to watch. We just went over some of the numbers this morning, and so it's a good amount of people watching the videos. We're very happy with that. And then our next program is June 19th, and that's going to be games. So we're going to think up some fun games. I think I'm not going to do the cicada quiz for the game thing because you guys were so bad at it. But we'll find something that you can maybe do a little. They only got 3 out of 10, guys. So, and then I already mentioned this to Charlene, but I'm gonna, instead of, usually I do the mailing beforehand, this time I'm gonna do the mailing after, so everybody be on the lookout. There's a sticker sheet for spring and a sticker collage for summer. Everybody gets 2 crafts, and there's a game book and a beach book. So yeah, it should be a fun thing to do. All right, any other questions? Anybody else got anything to share or say? If not, then we'll see you on June 14th or June 19th.
Okay.
I'm ready.